Yo, what's going on, guys? Blue here coming at you with another PGA 2K21 video. Today, I'm actually just doing an update to a previous video I've done, which is going to set up another huge piece of content that I've been preparing for you guys. So, what we're going to talk about today is an update to my competitive bag. So I just want to go over the changes I've made to the previous compared to the previous competitive bag, and just have this new updated competitive bag. This is the club set that I currently use in the game when I'm doing my competition rounds. It's different from what I had up on here before, and the reason why I want to make this video is because my future content that's coming out this week is all related to this particular subject, and it's going to be huge for you guys. Stick around to the end of the video. I'll give you a quick recap and a sneak preview of what's to come for that. So right now we're going to get into it. Here is my newest competitive bag. All right, so here we go. Competitive bag update video. I will actually. I forgot to move myself out of the way here. Let's just quickly do that for you. There you go. The magic of YouTube. So here is the new competitive bag updated versus the last one I had. So the big changes are going to be at the top here in the top four irons and hybrid section, as well as a few changes in my wedges. So really the only thing that stuck around, I believe these were the same. These wedges were the same. And these three irons are the same. Other than that, basically everything has changed. The driver and the 3-wood. I don't remember which one I was using at the time, but I'm using the newer driver, the newer Titleist driver that gives you the 11-degree option, that gives you the 1 yard further than all the rest. I haven't found the wind to be completely overtaking the club because of the 1 degree extra. So I enjoy the club. I play the club, and subsequently I also play the club's 3-wood set as well. So I have the driver and the 3-wood. As you can see here, there's the driver, there's the 3-wood. And now the big change that came to my competitive bag, and the reason why I did this was because I found in my previous competitive bag, the distances from 6-iron to what I had at the 3-iron, which was 215 yards, they were good, but I found myself trapped a few times, especially from what I had before was my 4-iron to my hybrid, which was 179 to 199, so there was a 20-yard gap. I found that gap to be just slightly too much for me. The 20-yard gap, I wanted to reduce just a little bit to give myself the option of having more stability in between those. So I didn't reduce it by much. I've reduced it by 18 yards. So I've been fluttering with the 4-irons. Actually, I don't even think this is the right 4-iron in play at the moment. I apologize. I used the TaylorMade SimMax. I apologize. This is the one that I use. I had the wrong iron there, so I was trying out different irons. So the irons that I use now. So what I've done is I've gone and I've changed my 5-iron from the base set, which is the Bridgestone JGR, to the Mizuno 5-iron. So it gives me, if you look here, the Bridgestone was a little less distance, a little less shot shaping, a lot more distance control, little more forgiving. But I switched over to here because the distance, the forgiveness, and the swing plane aren't that bad. The distance control, I don't really tend to partial a 5-iron, so I didn't really worry about it too much. And so I opted to go with the Mizuno because it gave me a little bit extra distance to close the gap from my new 4-iron previously to my old 4-iron. So I've given myself a 13-yard gap here from 6 to 5 iron. I've given myself a 13-yard gap. And then I have my new 4 iron, which is at 188 rather than what used to be a 179 4 iron. It's at 188, and it allows a 14-yard gap between my 5 iron and my 4 iron. Again, these are at the higher range, so I don't need them to be as tight. The rollouts do compensate for certain things, but 14 yards was a lot better than a 20-yard gap that I had previously. So that 4 iron at 188. Again, there's a huge difference between the Bridgestone and the 4 iron that I'm using now, but not a massive one. It's mostly in the shot shaping and the forgiveness that you give up a little bit, but that's okay because my tempo has been pretty good. So I'm not really concerned or overly concerned with the tempo that I lose, with the forgiveness that I lose for my tempo. But the most important thing is the distance is increased, and I needed that to close the gaps up at the top. Subsequently, I no longer use a hybrid in between the 4 iron and the 3 iron. So I used to have a 3 iron at 215 and a hybrid at 199. I've decided to switch out of that. I didn't really see the need to have the 3 iron be so long for those rough shots, the shots out of the rough. I didn't actually end up having that many. And the more I play, the more I realize for myself, my own game, my drives have been pretty consistent. I'm not in the rough very often. So I didn't really overly concern myself with having a 3 iron at 215 yards. I rather have a hybrid that goes a little bit further because the hybrids are easier to control. If you look at the hybrid versus the iron, the swing plane, the shot shaping, and the distance are completely non-existent on the 3 iron. The distance control is a little bit better with the 3 iron, and the forgiveness is about the same. So I decided to just keep my swing plane, keep my shot shaping, keep my forgiveness, and it is still a lot easier to distance control with a hybrid, in my opinion, than it is with a with the iron, because I don't actually distance control by partial shooting. I distance control with the hybrid by de-lofting a little bit, and my secret content that's coming out is a little bit of that, just to give you a little bit of a hint. So the de-lofting or the shot shaping by still hitting the perfect, I actually control my distances that way with my hybrid versus the way I would do it with my irons, which is basically partial shoot, or to fast something to get extra distance. And of course, I changed my 3 iron to be my 200-yard club now. This 3 iron is way more forgiving than the previous version of the 3 iron, which was the TGC Sum 950. So I was using this at 215 yards. Now I'm using a 3 iron at 201 yards. But as you can see, a lot better distance control, a lot more forgiveness. So if I do have to partial shot at 200 yards, if I do, if I want to go in on on a longer shot out of the fairway, I got a lot more forgiveness out of this 3 iron than I did previously, and I keep the same forgiveness with my hybrid. So basically, at the 215 and the 200-yard level, overall, I've gained more forgiveness in order to be able to hit my perfects or to be able to hit my fasts or whatever shot I want to hit, because I've now swapped the position of the hybrid and my 3 iron. I gain a more forgiving 3 iron at the 200 level, and I keep the same forgiveness at the 218 level. So it's way easier to make my longer shots. I'm not missing as much. I'm hitting 3 irons with perfects, which I barely did before. I hit a lot of fast or slight fast 3 irons. So this has been really good for me. The next big change in the bag is obviously the wedges. Now the wedges, the only reason I changed my bottom 2 wedges. So what I did was I thought about it a little bit more, and I was saying to myself, the 130, the 117, I'm leaving myself a 20-yard gap here. However, if I need to fill that gap, the pitch on the 8 iron, the pitching wedge and the gap wedge fill the gaps for the lower ones. So what I did was I took lower, more forgiving wedges that didn't interfere with the pitch here. That way I have more range. I actually have more range by creating a wider gap. And that's a huge one. So by utilizing the pitch distances, and I went into the practice range and I tested that out. By seeing what the pitch distances were, I realized, oh, with my previous set of irons, I have a full wedge that went the same distance as a, let's say, pitch on my pitching wedge. My full sand wedge went the same distance as my pitching wedge pitch. So I changed it up so that I had more range. And if I want to pitch a certain distance or I need to full a certain distance, I have more of that range, and I have a lower yardage shot as well. So now I could pitch a little bit lower, or I have instead of an 88 yard, which I had previously lob wedge for the full, I now have an 83 yard. So I'm able to have a full wedge in on a shorter shot. So it really helped me that way. So that's it, guys. That's the bag. That's the new competitive bag update for you. I did say I was going to give you guys a small hint as to what was coming with the next piece of content. So basically what I've done is I've actually gone and charted this entire bag. So you guys are going to have a full chart, what D-lofts do, what lofts do, what spin does, what all of that does, how much carry there is, how much rollout there is, the entirety. I've gone through it all, from the tee box, from the fairway. I've done it from the rough. I've done your chip distances. I've done pitch distances with rollouts. I'm working on it all, and that's going to be probably my next video is going to be me explaining the chart for you guys, and then I'm going to break down and show little videos and have little tidbits within the chart, and that's going to be kind of like the content for the next little while. As well as, if you hadn't noticed, I am live streaming on YouTube now. I've done it twice. Every Saturday is a scheduled live stream. I go over the competitive TGC tours, all the tours that I'm not in. So the CC, for now, it's CC Elite and Platinum. As I'm in the Kinetic Tour, I go over all of the courses. So I play the courses, the round one conditions once. You guys can see me play the course. So that's up and live from the previous video. And mixed into that is I'm going to be part of the Bees Knees match play tournament. I have a match coming up in the next 3 days, so that I'll be live for. I just got to set a time with my opponent, who will be Cartman Elf, another fantastic gentleman. If you don't follow him right away. Cartman Elf on Twitch. I'll put his link down below. It's going to be me versus him in a match play in the PC bracket of the Bees Knees tournament. So that'll be a lot of fun. So I'm really excited for the content that's coming out. And that's going to be it for me for today. I'm Blue, and I'm out, and I hope to see you again, man.